Hey guys, the early TV convention is just weeks away, so I need to wrap up this Garod project ASAP. Going over the chassis, reviewing anything I might have missed, and I found a couple caps down here. I don't know how I missed this guy, so that'll get replaced by one of these nice axial sprig atom caps. And then there's that goofy one, which is a paper cap that's inside of a copper cylinder that's grounded for shielding. So I'll carefully slide that out and put a new plastic film cap inside and reuse that copper shielding. But more importantly, I want to replace all of this crumbly, nasty wiring, especially the wires going to the yoke. They're just really falling apart. And this ancient high voltage wire I don't think is the greatest, but more importantly, since we're going to be replacing the picture tube, we're going to need to use a different anode connector than what was on there originally, because originally it had that little button snap thing like you see in some oscilloscopes and very early Dumont picture tubes. I pulled out some more modern high voltage wire we'll be replacing that with. And for the yoke, I may use some of this or some test lead wire. This is rated for 600 volts, or is it Teflon coated? No, silicone wire. Very flexible stuff. I've used it for yokes before. Otherwise, if I need something with a little bit better specs, I got this stuff, which is Pomona test lead wire. I think it's good for 2000 volts, something like that. Same kind of stuff you'd find in leads for like your VTVM, your multimeter, what have you. It's kind of beefy though. I don't think if I use 4 lengths of that, it's not going to fit through this hole in the chassis where it needs to go, so the other stuff should be good enough. Also would like to replace the 2 wires going to the focus coil if they need it. Maybe they don't. That's trickier because they go right into a hole in the focus coil. And that's not, and doesn't readily come apart. But when I'm looking at it, that has plastic insulation on it. As does the CRT plug, so I think we're okay with that stuff. But I will clean the wires because they are filthy. And I think that's it, aside from some more cleaning. The knobs could use a little bit of a cleaning. I'd love to clean the radio dial scale, but I can't. It's painted on both sides, and it's not worth risking ruining that nice crisp paint job there. And I should replace these bulbs because they look pretty ancient, even though they are still good. The knobs, they're pretty standard RCA knobs, but they're gold painted. It's starting to wear off here and there, but I'm not going to do anything to it. I just thought that was a little bit of gunk on there, but no, it's actually a little pointer thing. It's just I'll have to look at before I took the knobs off. I would think that one knob should be over here because that's the mode, and that little dot there is probably lines up with the stenciling on the cabinet to tell you what mode you're in. Alrighty, let's get this wrapped up so I can fire it back up and make sure everything's working right before I pack it up for transport. With the side off, I was able to locate a good area to mount the new power resistor and drilled some holes. It's going to go like so. And of course I'll smear some heat sink compound on it before I remount it. It's going to replace this guy, which I never bothered to mount securely because I knew I was going to replace it. We got plenty of length on this wire. We'll have to check on the other one. Alrighty, got the new chassis mount power resistor installed. Got a new high voltage lead and high voltage cup attached to my little test CRT, and I have the new wires installed on the yoke, going around, going through the hole in the chassis, but they are just temporarily hooked up for now because I want to make sure things are working before I tidy all that up. It's been a while since I had this all powered up, and I did a bunch of stuff just now, so let's find out. Test pattern generator, got an over-the-air converter box, going to the external modulation and put on the back of the VG91. Let's fire it up. Alright, so far so good. Let's make sure we're in the right mode. I think that's this, yeah, so phono mode, radio, DV. Alright, current draw looks reasonable. Everything's lighting up. Let's get the shop light off. Oh yeah. Oh, the tube's lighting up. This thing draws quite a bit of power. Oh, nothing on the CRT yet though. Let's see. Let's see, this was mode, right? This should be brightness. Contrast. Well, there's your problem. Dang, high voltage cap fell off. Yikes. Yeah, I had a little bit of trouble getting this on. This has a really good suction cup on it. But might have it. Yep. Discharge that a little bit before I go trying to reinstall it. I don't want to force it on here too strongly because it's not. I'm just going to be popping it right off. Because it isn't obviously the CRT I'm going to be using with this set, but let's give it another try. Alrighty, there we go. That's better. That's better. Come on. Oh yeah, not screwing around with the knobs. I must have messed up. Horizontal hold. There we go. Brightness up way too high. Contrast up way too high. Alright, let's get the lights dimmed again. There we go. Boy, that makes a nice picture. Just so many controls on this. I'm pretty sure this takes the cake as the most controls of any set that I've ever restored to date. Because of the expanded mode controls. If you remember on the cabinet, there's all those holes on it. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fine adjustments you do with a screwdriver, and then all these knobs, some of which are dual. It's just to make things fun. So, cool. I will let this run for a while to make sure that no more problems crop up. Can't quite remember what's what either. Yeah, now I remember. Yeah, they put horizontal hold and vertical hold right in the middle. And yeah, I remember I wasn't too happy about horizontal hold. Got to go fully counterclockwise to get it to lock. And even then it takes a little while to come in. So I should really find the course. Usually there's a coil you can adjust. Might be one of those two guys to get that range more, because you know, obviously it'd be nice to have the horizontal hold be in the center of its rotation, not at the extreme, and now I can't even get it to lock anymore. Well, no, actually there is no horizontal frequency adjustment on this. I guess you just need the components to be good enough. So there's a horizontal hold. Maybe that 560 picofarad has drifted a little bit. Or, well, Probably an easier thing to check with these dual 33Ks I got in series. And if you recall, this phase detector, these were the components that in the original service info this shows being matched within 1% or something like that. Although, I mean, I checked the two resistors and they were very close. I did not check the caps because they're down in there. As I recall, they're ceramic and I just don't want to muck with them. Alright, I think I got this solved. So, schematic shows two 33K in series. One is right off the horizontal hold control, the other is down there. That had a 33K, this had a 22K, measured a little high. I just replaced it with a 33K. Now that sure looked original, but that's not what the schematic calls for. And when I put a 33K in there, now horizontal lock is right in the center of the rotation. So I think we got that solved. Couldn't say what's up with that, but 33K seems to solve the problem. So tidy up my wiring, tidy up that installation, move on to some more cosmetic stuff while I let this burn in, test on the bench. Two of the knobs are missing their inner springs. Might have been lost on transport because I had to pull the knobs when I brought this home. But these are common enough GE knobs. I got a stash of spare ones. I'll pull the springs out of a couple and insert them into this because without them, well, they don't hold on. So that's why there's no knob there right now. So let's deal with that. Also replace the bulbs in here. That's what happens when you mess with the knobs. Replace the bulbs for the radio and the phonograph. They're type 44. So those are nice and bright now. So I think we're just about done. Other than letting this sit for a while. Oh yeah, so we got other repairs to do on other chassis. So this is the plug. So this, remember, this was the chassis from their conventional tabletop set, and they modified it for this big combo unit. And the way they pick off the audio to feed into this amp is they remove the audio output tube from the main chassis and put this plug in its place and then feed it into this guy. Well, the ground lead on that broke off, so we got to replace that. Also, the input plug for the phonograph is busted up. We got to replace that. Get the phonograph over here. It's been restored and working, but that plug needs to get repaired. Talking about this. Now I do have the plug, but the cord is frayed and falling apart. Hopefully I can salvage this, otherwise, well, it was shielded cable. I don't have anything quite like this. I have modern coax, which I suppose would work, but it won't be as flexible as this. My concern is if I trim this back and splice the plug onto it, am I going to have enough lead length? One way to find that out as well, to put it all back together. Well, you know, there's only so much you can do with spraying new finish over old. Just wasn't happy with this leading edge where the lacquer had separated and discolored. So I started scraping and it flaked off very readily, especially in the damaged areas. Now, rather than just taking out the damaged areas and try touching those up and blend it in, I found it's much easier to just make a stripe, because then it would kind of look, even if the color's slightly different, I mean, you can see all the bands of colors already, so that's really not much of an issue. Just went over it with some Varathane mahogany stain. I'm going to do a second pass and start building up the finish, and I will brush it on. I happen to have a can of gloss lacquer, because I got to build it up to match the thickness of the old, which will probably take 6, 7, 8 passes, and then sand it and blend it in. For the final pass, I'll use spray. I just know if I didn't do it now, every time I saw this set, it would bug me. So let's get it done. I figured before I go, I better make sure that it actually will fit. And yeah, it fits easily with room to spare. I can easily pick this up and move it myself, because without anything in it, it's actually not all that heavy. I don't know, 50, 60, 70 pounds, something like that. I was going to reinstall the safety glass and the screen bezel, put the doors back on. But now that I'm seeing it in here, I'm thinking, no, I won't. Because if I do, then when I put it in here, this whole top will be sealed off, and I can't put anything in here. Because I need to bring the phonograph, and of course the restored chassis, and the audio amp. And I'd like to bring this nearly dead 15 AP4. I figured even if it never gets used in this set and donate to the museum, they could put it on display or something like that. So yeah, with this open, I can put stuff down in here and down in there. And I got the passenger seat, of course, and room here. I could push this forward more too. The reason I was considering putting the doors back on is to minimize the chances of losing anything. So these are all the bits and pieces that I absolutely cannot lose. Like here are the poles for the two doors. The glue blocks I'll reuse, but those could be replaced, but not the stuff in this spot. This is all the mounting hardware. This is the support for the yoke and the focus coil and all the screws that put everything back together. And I also really have to remember to bring this. This is a support bracket where the CRT neck goes and where that yoke bracket mounts to. And these are the two pieces that hold in the safety glass and the screen bezel. So this has to go as well. So I better put this with that stuff. Doing some final burn-in testing. I'm using a 10BP4 for now, since I don't have what I expect to be the final 16-inch CRT. I'll get that at the museum, I hope. So yeah, everything's looking pretty good. Filling the whole screen. It's the same deflection angle as the 16-inch or 15-inch that's supposed to be in there. So everything should scale up, I'm thinking. So if it's filling this screen, it should fill the larger screen without any trouble. So I'm going to let it keep playing tonight, and hopefully no problems will crop up. It does get a little toasty on that side where that power resistor is, but obviously it's not that hot. I got hand resting against it. So that's definitely a good idea to do that. I went through and checked the tubes again, put in a really good tube for the horizontal oscillator and horizontal output tube. We got a brand new high voltage rectifier, so I'm hoping everything will keep running for quite some time without any trouble.